All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. It is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023 here. We have a 4-game MLB main slate already underway. Good luck to all of you in those contests if you are playing. We have an 8-game MLB main slate later this evening, and then we have PGA teeing off tomorrow, the round of 50 here. So it should be a fun PGA contest. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSims, a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. You can get your questions in one of 3 ways. First off, you can send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, you can post your questions live in the YouTube chat. And third, you can post your questions in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord, want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description below. Highly recommend it. Get access to all of our similar channels, see when lineups are released, see when players are scratched, see when sims run for that updated news. Also get access to all of our individual sport channels, ask sport-specific questions, get feedback from members of the community and members of the SaberSim team here. But with that being said, going to get the app pulled up here. Looking at questions here, we have, I'd say, about 3 questions here in the office hours channel, a couple in the YouTube chat. So we are going to work through all of these questions one at a time here. We will get to all the questions before the end of the show, as always. But if there's anything on your guys' minds that you have been wanting to ask, now is the time to get those in the queue. So first question here from Hona Peanut. Question says, I want to run 2 sets of 75 lineups for 150 max. Is there a way to enter the first set of lineups 1 through 75 and the second set for lineups 76 through 150 on DK? Okay, so this is a really good question. So on the current version of SaberSim, no, there is not a way to do this, but this has been a heavily requested feature that we have actually worked into our upcoming update, right? So we have been working on a new version of SaberSim. It is available to pro users at beta.sabersim.com. Just log in with your current credentials, and you should have access to that if you are on a paid pro plan here. But I will go ahead and demo that for you guys. So I basically relayed that information to Hona Pina, and they said, please explain. So I definitely understand where the confusion is coming from if you have not seen this before. But basically, this is what the new SaberSim version is going to look like here. And what you can do here is you can run multiple builds and have multiple lineups, and you can save sets of those to this favorites option up here at the top. And then from the favorites, you can save that to your contest. So it's going to be really cool when you guys get used to it here. But basically, if I come in here, run 500 lineups in this build 1 workspace up here, and then I'm going to run that and kick that off. I'm going to open a new workspace here, which I'm going to call just build 2. And then it looks like I can only do that once this first set of lineups has finished here. So just going to wait for these first set of 500 lineups to finish. And then we will jump into our second workspace, kick off our build there. So like say, you want to do something very specific for a subset of your lineups that you're playing tonight. This is going to be the way to do it, right? So first 500 lineups are finishing up, loading up. So then now I'm going to go change my number of lineups from 20 to 75 here. I'm just going to take the top 75 for the sake of this example. And then you have 3 options here. First says save to favorites, save to contest, and save to CSV. So what you're going to want to do is click save to contest. When you hit this star icon, this green star icon under favorites is going to light up. And then now if I click on my favorites, I have 75 lineups here. So those 75 lineups that I was looking at under build 1 are now in this favorites tab. And then if I go to build 2, I'm going to open up a new workspace here. And then I am going to run some lineups. I'm actually just going to run 75 to save some time here. So then I'm going to kick off this build, going to build a new set of 75 lineups. And then what I'm going to do is the same exact thing here. And then once I save these lineups to favorites, and then I go back to that favorites tab, that favorites tab will have all 150 lineups here. And then you could, from that screen, you could save that set of 150 lineups to your contest. And then this is the way to do basically what you are trying to do here. So just going to let these 75 lineups finish, and then we will demo exactly how that works. Grab some water while we wait. Don't know why lineups are building so slow here at the moment, but anyways, we're only running a few lineups here, so we'll let these finish. Possible I was doing some testing. Maybe I had like some rules or some exposures active that I wasn't familiar with or didn't remember, right? So definitely was doing some testing earlier, so that is what could be slowing us down here. But anyways, we are creeping toward the finish line right now. So lineups should be loading in a moment here. All right, so we're in the post build. Going to change my number of lineups from 20 to 75, and then going to click save to favorites. So then now, if I go to my favorites, what we will see is all 150 lineups are here. And then from here, I can use the save to contest option if there was a 150 max that I wanted to save these contests to. So this is coming. This is on the horizon. If you guys are on a paid SaberSim Pro plan, you can use this now. Be aware, it is in a beta for a reason. There are still some bugs. If you guys aren't familiar with it, want to check it out, I would highly recommend making sure to join the Discord as well. There is a pro channel where a lot of people are asking questions about these tools and tips. And then there is a pro beta feedback channel where all bugs are being logged. So that is a good place to ask questions if you're running into any issues here. And then just one other thing, when this does come out, one thing that has gone away is the ability to filter or search. I would say very conveniently here. So it has been moved to a right click. So if you right click on the team column header, this is how you search for certain teams, get rid of certain teams, etc. here. So you'll notice that you cannot filter for the Atlanta team here. So that has been moved to a right click. So if I wanted to go to Atlanta, I could now see them all, right? And then if I wanted to exclude them, which you probably never would want to, but you would just uncheck them all and then hit apply. And then I would unfilter for that team here with the right click and then reselect all teams here. But that is how you do it. So definitely going to be a little bit of a learning curve here. We will help you guys out when this gets released here, but really intuitive, really excited to see all the new features here. And then if you guys want to adjust team totals, you do that in the team stacks. You do not do that at the team, at the game bar up here as well. So a lot of things. You have to unlearn some things, learn some new things, but we tried to make it as seamless as possible here. So just a little preview of beta for you guys with this specific question. All right, going to get back to the regular SaberSim app here, and then we are going to keep it rolling. So good question to get us started today. Next question here from J. Sams Jr. Question says, what would your suggestion be if I wanted to create a 6-man slip on price picks? Would you go pitcher heavy or more batter heavy, and what side gives more consistency? SaberSim rocks. Okay, so this is an interesting question, right? I would say that there's kind of two questions in here, right? The second question is, hey, who is more consistent, batters or pitchers? And if you were to just pull up these players' distributions, I think it's fair to say that pitchers are going to be more consistent, right? Just because of this bell-shape-ish curve here for their range of outcomes. And remember, guys, that we are, simming these games out, and then each time the game finishes, we are basically putting their fantasy point into one of these buckets, and then this is what the distribution looks like at the end of all the sims, right? And then we were going to look at our batters. It's not going to look like that, right? It's going to look a lot more right skewed, a lot more. You can say that this player's variance is much higher, right? So in general, pitchers are going to be much more reliable than batters here. One thing, with using SaberSim for these, price picks, underdog, etc. here, right? First and foremost is that the detailed stats that you guys see in the home screen here are the means, right? So this is basically we add up all of the players' singles and then we divide it by the number of games, right? So this is going to show you how many singles they hit. It's not going to show you exactly what the median is, right? So these percentiles is 50th, 75th, 85th, 95th, 99th. These are median percentiles, right? So although Ronald Acuna's fantasy point projection is 11.29, this is the mean, and then his 50th percentile is 10, right? So these two numbers are a little different here. We are not displaying that for all of these detailed stats. We are only displaying the mean outcome here, right? So there's been some conversation around, mean versus median with some of these detailed stats that you used for these sites, right? Another thing here is that a lot of times I will see pitcher props here with like strikeouts where it might be over 4 strikeouts, right? So I would always look for halves here, especially when looking at price picks or underdogs, stuff like that, right? So if it's 4, if the over is 4 and they get 4, you push. You actually need 5 to win, right? But if it is over 4, if the line is 4.5 and you take the under, well, at 4 you win, right? So so just to walk through that example one more time, let's say that the line is 4.5 strikeouts, right? Well, if you take, less 4.5 strikeouts, 4 wins, right? But let's say if it's the line is 4 and you take less 4, 4 pushes and you actually need 3 to win, right? So be aware of what you actually need to win that bet as opposed to what you need to tie that bet, and then use that as information when trying to come to pick these plays in the app, right? But in general, I'm not a huge fan of using the information here to do that. If we had more information or more tools geared toward that, I would use that instead. But you're basically using information used for DFS contests for a purpose that is not particularly meant for. And then like the lines aren't even, right? You need a certain line or a certain win probability to break even over the long term, and then that's not being calculated for you with these stats. So just be a little careful doing that. Just exercise caution. All right, next question here from Ryan. Ryan said, thoughts on cash games for NFL on sites like Yahoo and OwnersBox. So I think this is, if you were going to play NFL cash games, I think this is a great strategy, a great thought to have here. It's like, hey, I want to find the sites where the cash games are going to be the softest. And I think that, OwnersBox is a great place to look. I think Yahoo is a great place to look. Also, still be aware of your competition, right? I've seen top pros like Mock Levin, playing cash games on Yahoo in the past. So some of these guys are just, going to get action wherever they can. So be aware of your competition. But I think that, looking at some of these alternate sites to play cash games, especially early in the NFL season, is going to be your best bet here. So great question. All right. Those are all the questions in the Office Hours channel. Jumping over to the YouTube chat here, see people continuing to trickle in. Hello, everybody. If you guys have any questions, now's a great time to get those in. But Deshaun said, will changing min and max exposures before builds have a bigger impact on the sim? So really good question here. I would say that you shouldn't worry about it unless you're playing Showdown, right? So the big thing here is that when you are making these adjustments, you are having an effect on the output of the sims, right? But if you're not playing a sport type or slate type where an optimal lineup is needed, then I wouldn't worry about it. But if you are playing a sport or slate type where an optimal is needed, then those min and max exposures can have more of an effect on your outputs on the sims, right? So big MLB, any classic slate, I really wouldn't worry about it. If you're playing, NASCAR, Formula One, NFL Showdown, when that comes around, I would be a little more careful with some of those adjustments, but ultimately I think it's okay, especially for these classic slates. All right, next question for M. Jackson. Say, this may sound crazy, but is there an easy way to ensure every active batter on a slate is in at least one lineup in my pool other than manually setting min exposures to each batter? Okay, so on the min and max exposure, kind of train that we're on, right? So in your build settings, there is a global max exposure button, but there's no global min exposure button, right? And the reason for this is that, it might sound very viable if you're playing, 150 lineups to have exposure to, every batter on the slate. But it's not the same when you're playing, 20 lineups, 10 lineups, 5 lineups, 3 lineups. That'll lead to builds failing, right? If you come in here and set min exposures to all these batters on the slate, but you're not running enough lineups to get exposure to all of them, then you're going to run into issues, right? So first thing is that, this idea makes the most sense for somebody who's always playing 150 lineups or more. The easiest way to do this is going to be to upload min exposures, and I will show you guys how to do that here. So on the home screen here, use the download option, and then this will download the table on the home screen. When you open this, what you can do is you can adjust the min exposures quickly for the players that you want. So say I only want to do batters, right? So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to filter out the relief pitchers and starting pitchers. And then I'm going to go to the min exposure column. And then I'm just going to put a 1. And then I'm going to put a 1 again. And I'm going to highlight these two. And then I'm going to drag these down until the last player with a projection. And then now there is a 1 in the min exposure column for every batter on the slate. This is much faster than going through each box in the home screen and setting them one by one. So then now I'm just going to unfilter this here. I'm going to select those pitchers back. And then I am going to unfilter. I'm going to save this these adjustments here. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to go upload on the home screen of SaberSim here. I'm going to go to the upload CSV button. I'm going to grab that CSV that I just altered here. And then now this is going to bring in my min exposure adjustments here that I made. So if I scroll over to the side here, I'm going to see min exposures are active. And then I can hit save here. And then now all of my batters have a min exposure of 1. And then when I go and run my set of lineups here, this also works better if you're on the pro plan. You know, building 5,000 lineups, building more lineups is going to help you do this here. And then if I were to kick this off, I would be all set here. But I know I was having issues running lineups earlier on the beta. Just want to make sure I don't have anything active. Looks like I don't. So I should be able to kick this off, and then this should the min exposures will carry over from the home screen to the post build and then give me the exposures that I requested here. But I'm actually curious if I can get exposure to all batters on the slate in my top 150 lineups. So if you do the math, it's 8 games. 8 times 2 is 16. So 16 teams, 16 times 9. There's about 144 batters on this slate, and we have 150 lineups. So it seems like it should work here. So let's see if these lineups load in appropriately here. I'm going to pull just SaberSim back up to save us some space here. And lineups are finishing. We'll see if this works or not. All right. Lineups are loading. And what do you know? We don't have any errors. We have 150 lineups, and it looks like we have, I think the easiest way to check is sort by projection here, and then just scroll down to the last player with the lowest projection, and then see if you are indeed getting some exposure to that player. And it looks like it is, right? Every player with a projection, we have a 1 min exposure, and we are getting lineups with that player. So it seemed to work out. This is going to be the easiest way to do that if you're looking to do that. So I would just follow the steps outlined here. But good question. Happy to answer it. Next question here from Ryan. Ryan said, thoughts on NFL all week slates? I'm going to play them on Yahoo this year, and SaberSim late swap tool is tailor-made for this type of slate. Okay, so great question here. I think that a lot of people who play, we're talking about like the Thursday to Monday slates here. I think a lot of people who play these slates, I think they're a little biased. And the reason I think that is because they're playing Thursday to Monday. So they basically want to have some action on Thursday, right? So I think that ownership of the first game of the week is going to be a little inflated, a little higher than some of the weekend games. Maybe even the Monday game might go, you know, a little bit under-owned. So be aware for some of those biases that the field will have here. But I think that, you know, SaberSim is very viable for playing all slates, you know, showdowns, classic, small, big, whatever it is. I think that you can play them all here and you should have no problem. I think late swap is going to be your best friend, like you talked about here. But just be aware of some of those like game theoretical kind of components and trying to think about, you know, what the field wants to do. And then all you can do is you know, just kind of see how that ownership comes in compared to other, you know, plays on the slate. If there's a team with a really high run, with a really high point total, see how, you know, their ownership matches up if they're playing, you know, sometimes Sunday to that Thursday game, and then see, you know, what the field is doing with those early games, and then try and make some adjustments from there. Mike said, on Owner's Box with a 50 max contest, do you recommend a 150 max build or a 20 max build? Okay, really good question here. So you could go a couple different ways here, right? And let's just go over to Owner's Box. We'll talk about today's 8-game slate. And what I would do here is I would first look at the slider differences, right? So let's say it's like 1 to 10K, 20 max is 9.7, 150 max is 9.8 here. So basically just one tick on the sim diversity different here. Frankly, I think both are going to be fine. I always tend to lean on the higher side here. So I would probably just go with the 150 max here, be okay with the additional sim diversity in my lineups and just build from there. And the reason I like doing that is because higher slider settings are basically going to just optimize for higher upside. So higher upside is never going to hurt you. It could be a little overkill if you're, using 150 max sliders for, a small single entry contest here, right? But ultimately it's never going to hurt you in a sense here, right? You're just optimizing for a higher upside outcome needed to win your contest. So I think leaning on the higher side is always kind of the right answer here. All right, this is our last question at the moment, everybody. If you guys have any extra questions, now's a great time to get those in. But question from Samuel B. said, how did you feel with your first big win? How did you keep yourself grounded to not tunnel vision? Because when you win, you tend to feel like what you did is the gospel way and you stop learning. Okay, so great question here, Samuel. I'm happy to talk about this, man. So I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, like I made a lot of mistakes, bankroll rise, right? I had 150K win in December, and then I had a 100K win in February. So in a span of 3 months, I won a lot of money, right? And I thought I was just super good. I thought I was, just a great DFS player. And that wasn't the case, right? I immediately jumped to playing the flagship contests and made a lot of mistakes with my bankroll. If I could go back and do it again, I would do it totally differently. So, I love when questions like this come up because all I really want to do is help you guys not make the same mistakes that I made. The biggest mistake I think that I made that probably other people make is that instead of spreading my action across different slates, I just started moving up and down the contest lobby, right? So once I got to those contests that were, once I filled up all the contests that were under $3, I just moved up to the next contest in the lobby, right? What I should have done is I should have went and looked at the turbo slates and played the contests under $3 for the turbos. The night slates, play the contests for under $3 for those, right? I should have went and played FanDuel, then go look at FanDuel under $3. Go play Yahoo because Yahoo is going to be softer than FanDuel or DraftKings, right? So one of the biggest things that I like to tell people is that, when you are, when your bankroll is growing, when you are running out of good contests to play under $3 on the main slate for one site, if you go and just, I'm in the slate right now, I'm in the app right now looking at DraftKings contest offerings for slates today. They have three showdown slates and they have 6 classic slates. That is 9 slates of action for you to go and try and find contests under $3. So I actually did this exercise in NBA season, and between DraftKings and FanDuel, I was able to get down, about $1,500 in contests under $3 on a given day. And that is, great. That wasn't even including, Yahoo. Yahoo doesn't have those same fair play guidelines where at least I don't think so. They have like a veteran system and like a veteran plus system or something like that, which is a little different here. But basically, long story short, spread out your action for as long as you can for as much money as you can before playing the contest that all the pros have access to, because the contests get harder, right? The contests get sharper and there are a lot of good players in those contests. And then, variance can eat away at you. So don't make the same mistakes I did. Try and listen to other people's advice, ask questions in the Discord, talk to sharper players and see what recommendations they have, and preserve that bankroll and try and play as many soft contests as you can. Can't state that strongly enough. But great question, Samuel, and happy to talk about it further if you guys want. All right. That was our last question at the moment here. So while we wait for any last questions to roll in, just want to remind you guys, if you guys are not playing over on Owner's Box, would highly recommend taking advantage of our promotion. We partnered with Owner's Box at the beginning of the MLB DFS season here. It's been a great partnership to date. They are an up-and-coming DFS site, and because they are trying to grow, they are sizing their contests up. And a lot of the contests are overlaying. You find reduced rake, no rake, or full overlay, where they are essentially paying you to play. Your $5 entry becomes worth $6 by the time the contest starts because not enough people are filling up that contest. When you use promo code SABRE or SaberSim, when you sign up, 1, you can get up to a $500 deposit bonus. 2, we will track your entry fees for you. And each time you hit one of our entry fee tiers, our team will reach out to you, let you know you have earned a free month of SaberSim. You can cash in on that right away, or you can wait till the next tier. Either way, once you cash in, we will reset your tracking to 0, and you will automatically start earning towards your next free month. There is no limit on the amount of credit you can earn while this promotion lasts. If you're looking for the sign-up page, it is linked in the description of this video. Ryan said the super veteran status on Yahoo only limits you in the single entries. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah. So even, some of those smaller dollar multi-entry contests, everyone's still going to have access to those. But I just think that, sometimes the prize pools aren't big enough where a lot of people are just focusing their action elsewhere where they can win more money. So I think that, although the super veteran only limits you in single entries, I think that some of those multi-entry contests are still going to be a little bit softer. So take advantage where you can. But that about does it, everybody. All caught up on questions here. So if you guys are building lineups throughout the day, question pops in your head, drop it in the Office Hours channel, drop it in the upcoming stream link for the next show. The shows are scheduled for the week on our YouTube channel, so you can grab those. And questions ahead of time just help us to have a steady flow of questions as people continue to tune in and ask more questions. So I really appreciate it. Helps this show to just get off to a nice start here. Benny Hanna said, Andrew, hope all is well. Hope all is well with you too. I know a lot of people are getting really excited for football season. I sure am myself. Be on the lookout for more information with SaberSim 3.0. And until tomorrow, take care. Good luck in your contest. I will see you all. Thanks. Bye.